salty pecans, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi! My name is Pamela, and honestly, today is a long-awaited video. I cannot tell you how many times, literally, I have been requested to create and film this video. And today's video is actually my houseplant tour. This is my summer 2023 houseplant tour. I have not done a houseplant tour since 2022, and I literally have been asked to film this video so many times, and every time I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna film one, I'm gonna film one, I'm gonna film one, and I don't film one. But today I actually did. So I hope you enjoy this video. If you liked it, of course, obviously give it a thumbs up and comment down below if you have any of these plants that I'm going to be sharing with you, or what I should add into my collection. So without any further ado, salty peeps, I'm going to hop into the intro and we're going to start our house tour. Salty pecans. So let's actually get straight into my houseplant tour. I'm going to be showing you every single plant in my collection currently for this summer 2023. I cannot believe that we're already summer 23. Summer is nearly over now. Like, August is tomorrow. The first day of August is tomorrow. So let's go ahead and share with you the plants that I currently own. And yeah, so I'm actually going to start here in this room. This is my plant room. It's also my office. I create film content here. I said I create film. I create and I film content here. I take care of my plants here. It's everything that I need to do that is not related to a bed, that's not related to maybe even a television, happens inside of this room. So behind me I have a nice assortment of plants from up top to all the way to the bottom. So let's go ahead. So just for video purpose, I'm literally showing you all what my room looks like, what my plants are looking like in real life. I'm not just going to like clean or organize this room just for video purposes. I'm just going to be dead serious with you. So I'm going to start down here. This is my Whalefin Sansevieria, my Masoniana. I got this beauty as like one huge plant, and since then it's grown quite a lot. I've divided this plant up a few times. I've sold a few pieces. I've given a few pieces to my mom. So this is my Masoniana, and right next to the Masoniana, this plant is my Rhaphidophora tetrasperma non-tissue culture. It used to live at my windowsill. I took it down. I chopped and propped this plant. This plant was like several feet long, and now it's like barely like 6 inches. Okay, so I had to chop and prop this plant many times. This is the non-tissue culture Rhaphidophora tetrasperma, and right under it is a plant that I'm trying to like rehab back to life. This is actually my Hoya Australis Sinai. I don't know how to ever pronounce it. I believe I have maybe some sort of like mites at the roots, because if you see these little brown tips, right, those are actually leaves. And I chopped and propped this plant because I was really unsatisfied with, honestly, the growth, the lack of growth, if I'm going to be more specific. And it literally just like bloomed, pushed out so many new growth, so many new leaves, and all of a sudden, boom, they all died. So there has to be some sort of like mite situation. So I'm actually rehabbing and treating this plant right now. And getting watered currently is my Rhaphidophora. I forgot what this one is. This is the, I forgot exactly which Rhaphidophora this is. Dragonstail. Rhaphidophora decursiva. I have my Rhaphidophora decursiva right now just soaking up some good old H2O. And if we pan a little up, we will see my money tree. I love this plant so much. This plant I've had for not a decade yet, but I'm close to a decade. I've had this money tree for maybe like 8-9 years now, and it's humongous. It started off as a little tiny thing. I believe it was like up to here when I first got it, the entire plant. And when I did also purchase it, it was sick, and I saved it. The plant survived. I rehabbed it back to life, and it's just beautiful. What I'm trying to do now is get it on like a happier schedule. I don't know what's going on with it during the winter months, but during the winter months this plant was starting to decline. I think I was not watering it as much as I would have wanted, so I'm, you know, getting back onto doing a little bit better with that. So this is the money tree, and let me go ahead and just pan y'all this way to the rainforest. This section is plants upon plants upon plants. So I'm gonna actually put my tripod down to show y'all properly. Okay, so over here, the first plant I'm going to show you is my beautiful Monstera albo. And this beauty is, honestly, this plant is so gorgeous. It's so stunning. I love just the variegation. I love how the white and the cream and the lime green, the mint, it all just blends so well. And my most newest leaf decided to give me a partial half moon. Not too happy about that, so fingers crossed that the new leaf that's going to pop out is not half moon, because I can see right now there's a little bit of activity going on. So fingers crossed it, you know, is a bit more variegated and green like the lower leaves. Right under it, I actually have this philodendron 69696. Beautiful, beautiful plant. I love it. It lives in moss and a little bit of leca. This plant needs some water, so I have to fill this container up with water for it. But this is the next plant in my collection. Right next to it, I have my beautiful pink princess. And this pink princess was actually my experiment pink princess. I purchased this as a reverted pink princess, and I experimented on this plant so much. I have a bunch of videos online for you to follow if you get a reverted pink princess, and you, or like honestly any reverted philodendron to be more exact, and for you to play around with it to induce new growth, to induce the variegation, is essentially the experiment that I did, and it was successful. So the plant went from having all green, no pink, no white, to giving me like the most beautiful pink leaves. Since then, I've chopped this plant up a bunch of times. I've sold the beautiful white parts, the beautiful pink parts, everything about this plant. Love it. So it's giving me just like 2 vines, and I have a whole bunch of cuttings throughout the apartment. But this is the parent plant, and this one is so thirsty. Jeez, Pam, I have to give this plant some water. These plants dry faster than I expect them to. So pushing that to the side, I have right here a philodendron mayoi. Philodendron mayoi. And behind the philodendron mayoi, I actually have my Monstera albo Hannah. So if you can see, Hannah is a big beauty. So Hannah is all of this. From here around, I have Hannah propagated and staked up on a branch that I got somewhere in the city, and I decided to do like my own little DIY with it. Instead of giving it just like a common cedar plank or giving it a moss pole, I decided to give it a live branch, and the branch is sealed, so I don't really worry too much about rot, but give it this live stem for it to hold on to and attach itself and vine. And I just wrap it around, you know, and just keep it staked on here. So This is Hannah, like I was mentioning. Hannah lives on this wooden branch. And as you can see, Hannah popped out a new leaf. This new leaf is about to unfurl. I hope it's fenestrated and I hope it's very variegated. This particular elbow does not have like the most variegation. It doesn't have like a bunch of like white variegation on it. It's more green than white compared to this one. It's so interesting because they actually come from the same parent plant, but one is just more variegated than the other. I had this one longer obviously as well. This one started off as a mid-cutting, unrooted mid-cut. This one was a rooted top cut. I think it was a top cut or maybe it was even a mid-cut, but either way don't look the same. So right next to the Hannah, my elbow, I have a Scindapsus. This is one of the silver ones, the silver form. Tribute. This is the Scindapsus Tribute Moonlight. That's the plant. Beautiful. And it basically lives under a whole bunch of these plants. So right in front of it, I actually have this water propagation that I actually need to fill up because as you can see, this thing is really low down. I have this water propagation of the snake plant. This plant used to actually live in my office at my old job, but one, I was thinking that people were actually like picking at the plant because I would come and my plant was like thinner, like the container was like smaller plant wise than maybe like a week before. So I know for sure like people were like definitely picking at my plant and taking some home, but whatever. I don't work there anymore. But yes, so this is, I decided to like reroot the whole plant. I was just really unhappy with how the plant was starting to like look. It was like declining and it was a huge container too. So snake plant. So if I show you behind the snake plant, I actually have this little raccoon with a philodendron Brazil that lives inside of it. Is this like non-drainage philodendron Brazil that lives inside of this little raccoon buddy. And the raccoon buddy actually lives alongside of, let's push some plants to the side, lives alongside of my ZZ. So this ZZ, I think I got it from like Home Depot or Lowe's for like $1 or like $3, okay? And I rehabbed it and I was ignoring it, but it's doing so much better now. It just lives behind here, unbothered, undisturbed. And directly below all of those, I have my silver, gosh, what is this? My philodendron silver something, philodendron silver something. I forgot exactly which silver philodendron this is, but Lola came to say hi to us. So I have this silver philodendron that lives here. And let me just go ahead and push some of the plants back so I could really show you. The forward. So I have just my regular Monstera Deliciosa. This Monstera Deliciosa, I'll show you the other part when I go in the other room, but this was my first Monstera Deliciosa. I got this plant in 2018. Love it so freaking much. It was huge, and I had to chop it up earlier this winter because this plant was getting way out of hand. It was lanky, it was long, and now it's fuller. It's smaller but fuller, so it's not the size, it's the quality, okay? I would prefer this plant be shorter, smaller, but full versus long and lanky and ugly, okay? So the plant has pushed out many different points within itself. So here's a new point on this stem, 1, 2, 3 on this one stem, 1, 2 on this stem, another big one right here. So the plant is pushing out growth and giving me a fuller plant, which is exactly what I wanted. So right behind it is my gorgeous philodendron burley marks. So this is my philodendron burley marks, and it lives inside of, well, alongside this trellis. Maybe I have to actually water this plant, so it's a little thirsty, very thirsty. The summer's been really hot, but philodendron burley marks lives on a Vanessa trellis, Vanessa's indoor trellis. All right, if I just pan you over just slightly panning over, moving these plants over here. Oh, actually, before I slightly pan you all over, if you can see right here, this box is a container that I completely forgot. I have not opened this box in at least 5 months. So let's open this and see how it's doing. I have a couple propagations in here that I've completely forgotten about. So if we look, something is propagated inside of this leca. Don't remember. Something else propagated in here. Don't remember. And I have some more things in here that I don't remember also what they are, but we're just gonna put them and continue to forget what they are until I choose to want to reuse this container to, you know, propagate something else. But that lives here next to the other phillos and monsteras. Alright, so let's go ahead, like I was saying, pan you over here. So this here is my Silver Queen Aglaonema. I love this plant. It's so beautiful. It's one of my older plants in my collection. The Aglaonema is one of my favorite plants. I've had this plant in my collection for well over a decade now. And it lives inside of the same container as my favorite plant. My favorite plant, and also my oldest plant, which is my Dieffenbachia. They live in the same container, and I know I'm gonna have to next year. I'm not gonna do it this year. Next year I'm gonna have to actually replant this plant because child, look at this. This plant is at least 10 feet tall on the floor. And like I was saying, it also lives right beside my Dieffenbachia Snow Queen. And this plant is touching the ceiling, but you're like, no, it's not, Pam. It is, but it's leaning. So it's leaning, so it's not touching the ceiling. But if I were to stand this plant up, right, it would definitely be touching the ceiling. This plant right here, this is my ZZ Zenzi. This used to live at work in the office, but it's not very happy. And I see that the rhizomes are like drying up, so that means this plant is not getting as much water as it would need. So I decided to pot it, and I'm going to repot it into something else. I do have to place this in some container with water so it could absorb water, so I could repot it and give it a better soil mix. But I just needed to like get it out of here so I could remember to actually do that, or I would completely forget. This is a pineapple lily. I have not gotten the chance to pot up. So this pineapple lily looks like this. I have to get some time to pot it up. I would actually prefer to put this outside, but it's indoors still. But pineapple lily. Next to the pineapple lily, I actually have this poinsettia, My neighbor gives us a poinsettia every single winter for Christmas around December. She puts one in front of everybody's apartment in the building, and this was the last winter's poinsettia. It fell and broke the other day, so this is what we kind of are dealing with right now. Not bad actually for all the damage, but look at this silver plant I was telling you about. Silver something, I forgot what it is. It's a philodendron silver or something. Huge plant. I actually forgot to show you all what was inside of this container, so let me quickly go ahead and do that. So in here is literally just a bunch of props. I have loads and loads of plants. I have syngoniums, golden this, silver that, monstera this, all in perlite though. So this is these box. So we are now in this section. This is one of my planty shelves, and this particular plant shelf I have a mix of different plants. So starting down here I have my philodendron silver stripe, and it decided to create a new growth point that's all just plain old green philodendron, and then the other part has the silver stripe, so I just let them cohabitate. I have my gorgeous, my beautiful, stunning, this is my skeleton key. And next to my skeleton key I have a water propagation. This water prop contains some more Rhapidophoras. It has some silver stripe. It has my Snow Queen pothos, and it has some variegated syngonium also. So this is kind of like just a variegated situation with this beauty to protect it. Down here I have a water prop of philodendron Cebu blue. I have some Cebu blue in here. They belong here. Okay. And next to the Cebu blue, I have yet another water propagation. This one has Monstera Salty Pecan on it. It has a... This is one of the another Monstera Monkey Mask. I think this is the variety, and this has a shark tooth cactus. This is my Scindapsus exotica. Larger leaves, beautiful, love it. I already showed you this. Right next to the silver stripe, I have this Shangri-La pothos. Shangri-La. And I have another water prop, and this again has just some more monkey masks, some Scindapsus argyreus, and friends. We have Freddie Mercury right here. Okay, and I have another water propagation on this row. Let's get it. I'm doing my best not to yank plants so plants don't just like rip off. So this has water propagations of pothos inside of this sake container. All right, so this row we have the parent plant of my monkey mask, Monstera. This is another water prop that lived in my office. So this has neon pothos in it. This also has the plant that is really fussy. Gosh, lily. This is one of those lilies. Okay. And yeah, so this used to live in my office at work, but I am no longer there. And the last plant on this row is another water container prop. And this water prop contains my pink princess cuttings. There's 2 different vines on here, and this plant is huge. It just lives in water, and it also has a Royal Hawaiian Purple plant on here too. Really pretty, really love it. And yeah. Okay, so the last plant on this shelf is right here. Again, doing my best to not yank anything. And this is a container that has a mix of both of my lemon, lime, neon green philodendron, and also a philodendron Brazil. So they just cohabitate, and I just let them kind of just, I should actually probably move it over here because this is really busy in this section. I'll probably move it over to this section. I think that might look a little bit better versus having everything just stuffed in here. So that was that. Let me bring you actually over here. I forgot to show you the plants that were on the plant stand. So really quickly, on this plant stand, my stripper pole plant stand, I have a variety of plants. To start off, this is 4 Eyes. And the reason I call it 4 Eyes is because that's what my friend told me to call it. He got me this container for my birthday last year, and he was just like, we're gonna call it 4 Eyes. So 4 Eyes actually has my gorgeous Scindapsus jade. And I have this Scindapsus jade on this what is this even? It is like one of the coat hangers that you get from the dry cleaners. And I just gave it a trellis that way. Okay. So next to that, the next plant on here is my Philodendron Burley Marks variegated. Love this plant, so gorgeous. This plant is going to have to get a new pot because if I'm looking at this right now, this thing has some serious roots and it needs a serious repotting. So we'll add it to the list of the plants that also need to be repotted. Can you all see? So up here I have a beautiful variegated syngonium. Love it. And the last plant on the stand is, I forgot exactly what kind of philodendron this was, but we have this philodendron here. Thirsty, needs some water. And right above the Monstera albohana, I have this little water container of philodendron, and I also have my gorgeous Monstera constantiniana, Monstera Peru. Beautiful. And that pretty much is all of the plants in this section. Let me just show you the plants on the wall. I have my beautiful philodendron micans in its original container. Gorgeous. And I have this gigantic mammoth, this humongous, huge golden pothos. And again, it's in the container that I purchased it in. I just do my little hacks. The hack that I do is I repot it in the same container. I mess around with the roots to make sure everything fits, but I don't want to have to give this plant, you know, another container, so it's gonna have to do what I tell it to do. Okay, so let's just do a little quick pan over here to this plant stand. All right, so for this section I have a container that has some more of my variegated syngonium, and it lives in moss. Okay, I propagated it in moss and I have not moved it from the moss since. right beside that, I have a not very happy at all. This is my rattlesnake calathea. Rattlesnake calathea is not very happy, but whatever. We're treating it. We're trying to deal with it. Let's just worry about that when the time comes. And I have the plant that my fam is called after, the Monstera saltipicana, aka Monstera salty pecan. I love this plant. It's so gorgeous. Next to that is my philodendron bipenniformium. And then this is another variety of my Scindapsus jade. And I have another philodendron burley marks up there. This is the green version, not the variegated. I'm gonna give y'all a tiny pan of my desk, but I'm not gonna pan down because it's a mess. But I'm just gonna quickly show you some of the plants that I have on here. I have this bamboo plant, which is gorgeous. I have a water propagation that's full of burley marks. It has a Peru and friends. And I also have this water propagation with some golden pothos, some snow queen pothos as well that lives inside of this pot. And the last water propagation on my work desk is here. This one has some more syngoniums, some rhapidophoras that I've recently chopped up to water prop, and I think this is a Mayoi, I think. So yeah, this is another water propagation of mine that lives on my table. So now we have turned around, did a 180, and we are now facing the windows, and I will have to show you all of the plants that I have at my windowsill. Starting off with this very thirsty plant. I did not do really well at watering this weekend, so I have this very thirsty syngonium. God, I'm literally forgetting all the names of these plants. So anyways, I have the syngonium right here. Next to the syngonium, I have this that used to live in my office, but now it doesn't live in my office anymore. Golden pothos. Not very happy with this plant. Hate it. It's my least favorite plant. It's my 1000 mother of million chandelier. So here's my Hoya cage. If you're not new to my channel, you've seen this Hoya cage. This Hoya cage is just full of Hoyas. I have my Hoya Crinkle 8. I have the Hoya Sweetheart. I also have another. These are two carnosas. I have two Hoya carnosas in here. And if I pan up quickly, this behind me is one of my favorite plants ever. This is one of my favorite Hoyas in general. And this is my Hoya carnosa compacta variegated regalis. The regalis has the green bordering and white interior. This plant looks so gorgeous. It started off much smaller and it's given me so many different new growth points. I love it. So cute. Above the regalis, I also have my Mauna Loa. The Mauna Loa is another compacta variety, but the Mauna Loa has the green bordering and the white interior. These plants are so dry. I don't understand how these things get so freaking dry so fast. I literally drowned these plants with water like a day ago. What the hell? And right up there, I have my very old and very long. This right here is my string of hearts. This is my regular string of hearts. Alright, this next plant is my Hoya Curtsii. I gotta water this. Everything just feels so dry. So the next plant I have is my shark tooth. This plant is humongous. It's so big. Mad thirsty. Pissing me off right now. I'm getting annoyed actually at how thirsty these plants are. Alright. Ooh, I did not notice this. So Let's zoom y'all in a little. This is my Hoya pubicalis, and as you can see, my pubicalis pubes are pubing onto my it's like, oh, I just want to be friends with you. So my pubicalis is trying to attach itself onto my painting. We're not doing that, love. We're not doing that, love. We're not doing that, love. Anyway, so we'll deal with that after. Alright, so for this section, this is my Hoya window. I really call all my windows my Hoya window, but this is my more specific Hoya window. So I'm gonna start off with right here. Since I'm saying Hoya, 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 this is a Hoya propagation. Okay, so this Hoya propagation has my Hoya Illigorium. It has another Hoya, I don't remember what kind that was, and then it has another Sweetheart Hoya, which is popping a new growth out in here, if y'all can see. It's giving me a new little leaf right here. Next to that, I have my Burley Marks Fantasy, Philodendron Burley Marks Fantasy. One beautiful leaf, one struggling leaf. This is my Philodendron pedatum. Gorgeous, beautiful. Okay, inside of this little growth container, I have my Syngonium lanocardiroid. This plant started off in one of the little ketchup ramekins, and it now has upgraded to a whole plastic. So this plant makes me so proud, and it is my Hoya obovata. This Hoya is just, it's bloomed for me 4 times already in the summer, okay? Since this plant pushed out these peduncles, it's already bloomed. This is the 3rd bloom from this one. This one gave me just 1 bloom. So, and just 1 leaf too. This next plant, wow, 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 wow. Look at the roots at the bottom. This next plant is my Hoya Rebecca. And look at the sun stress. The most favorite thing about this plant for me is how sun stressed it gets. And obviously, the roots are really just enjoying the container that I have it in, which also means I have to repot this plant because it's pushing out from the bottom. It's not good. Okay, and this baby here is my Hoya Swiffer's Tail. We stand a Hoya Swiffer's Tail. We love a Hoya Swiffer's Tail, and our Hoya Swiffer's Tail has many peduncles. Our Hoya Swiffer's Tail has also flowered for us, which makes us love Hoya Swiffer's Tail even more. We just gotta be careful to not hurt peduncles. Alright, so the next Hoya right here is my Hoya Callistophylla. Love it. I gave it a bamboo trellis, and fingers crossed, we're just hoping this thing, you know, blooms, continues to bloom, and hoping I don't have to repot it, because I did repot it this year, and this plant looks like it probably should go into a larger container also. Okay. The next Hoya in this section is right here, and this is my Hoya Polyneural Broguette. I'm a little like side-eyeing this plant, mainly because it's giving me these yellow leaves and it's kind of annoying me, but we have new growth. Okay, we have new growth, and I also think I should repot this plant because I have yet to give this plant new soil, new anything, since I purchased it from the original seller. So I think roots wise it might be just asking for something a bit more nutritious. Tomato, potato. Here's how the roots are looking. So it's not overly grown, so I think I might keep it in here. But just keeping an eye on the moisture, because this plant loves to be drowned in water. The next Hoya in this section is right here, and it is my Carnosa, my pink Crimson Queen. Crimson Princess, actually. I think this is a Crimson Princess. The queen wears a crown and a princess wears a crown. Princess. This is my variegated sweetheart. Okay. So I have my variegated sweetheart Hoya, which is obviously just vining and it wants to give itself its own direction. I'm doing my best to literally like force it to live here, but it just keeps popping itself out. So let it do its thing. And the next plant is my Hoya Wayettii. Love it. And if we pan up here, I have 3 plants. I have these 2 Hoya compactas. And this compacta actually has a hitchhiker plant, which is a fern. And then behind this compacta, I have a Hoya Bertonoi SPF AF Bertonoi. And the last 2 plants in this section, and if I slide these plants over really quickly for you, I have a Tetrasperma tissue culture. And as you can see, the tissue culture and this right here, Scindapsus, have both decided to climb on my wall. So I just let them do their thing. But I do want to like rip these off of the wall and put some different plants in this place. So like I mentioned, this is my Scindapsus Pictus argyreus right here. So these are all of the plants that actually live in this room. And I can't believe this video has taken me so long, but now let's go into the other rooms. The other rooms have less plants, so I know this video is winding down. No, this is the last plant, and this is my Philodendron Branty. Lives under this cloche. I never ever take this cloche off of it, nor do I really ever water this plant. Maybe like a handful in like 365 days. I probably watered this plant like 5 days in 365 days. So we are now in my kitchen and the lighting is not the best. I do, you know, but we're gonna do with what we have. So quickly, the plants we have in the kitchen are as follows. Here is one of my Syngoniums. I think this is like the Syngonia Maria. I have this humongous ZZ that's about 5 feet tall. Yes, this plant is 5 feet tall. It's huge, okay? It's huge. It's huge. If I put it on the floor and I put it next to me, it's like at my shoulders, which is crazy. Then the next plant next to that, I'm gonna have to bring them closer to you all. The next plant I have, this is my Ripsalis Bacifera. Then I have this mix of Ripsalis. This has Bacifera, Pilocarpa, and friends. Okay. Sadly, my Ripsalis have yet to flower for me, so I'm waiting for them to do that. I have a Silver Glory, String of Hearts, Silver Glory. I have this gorgeous fig rubber tree. This is the, I forgot which variety it is, but I have this one. Everything feels so dry. Jesus Christ. This is another one of my one leaf propagations. This is a beautiful snake plant. I don't know the variety of this one, but this year it's given me an offshoot, so we're happy about that. I have this aloe. This is aloe number 1. At one point I had a huge, like maybe like 3-foot aloe that died accidentally. I accidentally like over watered it. I changed the container that it was in, so the plant went into so much shock and it just died on me. And that aloe was sold. Then the next is another snake plant. And this snake plant pushed out a new offshoot, so this is the parent plant. This was a one leaf starter, and it's given me this offshoot, and as I'm speaking to you all now, it's giving me this offshoot as well. So it's already in this year giving me this and this, which I'm so proud about. I'm not crazy about repotting my plants, but when I do, my plants just bloom like crazy. The next plant at my window is this. This is a pot that contains my ZZ Raven and a Pothos. So we definitely stand a ZZ Raven, and just like I showed you with that other snake plant, this Raven, I repotted it this year finally after having it for a few years. It's finally giving me like the growth that I'm happy about. It's pushed up this new leaf, and when you honestly compare the size of like this leaf, okay, and you compare it to this leaf, come on. So it's giving me this, and this is another new growth point. So I'm so happy about this blooming, blossoming plant. And the Pothos as well has like over a dozen offshoots, and all of those offshoots have made this plant so full. So I'm so happy about this. We're almost done. Okay, almost done with the plants in this section. All right, the next plant in this section is this water container of bamboo. This plant already needs to be re-cleaned, and I just re-cleaned it this year. I had to finally give it a new container because it outgrew the container that it was in. That container was in that container for over a decade, by the way. And it was just like so stuck. I had to break the glass. I'll tag the video here. The next plant in this section is my newest aloe. I have my newest aloe plant. I went to Aruba this year, and Border Patrol basically like did not let me keep my plant because the website said you can bring aloe from Aruba. So my friend, like to surprise me, like just to make me feel better, got me a aloe to, you know, cheer me up, which it did. And this used to be one of these like crested euphorbias, but the crested part has died off, and only the part that it fused, the bottom part, survived. So that, you know, is, I want this to fruit so I could get some cactus pear. All right, y'all, so these are the windowsill plants. Okay, so this is my table, my kitchen table, and I only have 2 plants on it this time. I usually have like, I switch it up. I'll keep florals, I'll keep live plants, I'll keep sticks and twigs, and these are the plants that I have currently. Like I showed you earlier, that monstera that I told you I've had for a while, and I chopped it up and it's given me these new growth points. Well, these were the leaves that I actually chopped up from that monstera, and as you can see, this thing is extremely rooted. I have to transfer them into their own container because they're becoming a little bit root bound in here, but I actually just have this huge monstera just like on my table. And living on the table as well alongside my monstera, I have this water container that has some more of the silver queen aglaonema, and also has some pothos in here. Cute. Obsessed. So that's that. I'm just gonna show you a couple of water propagations because I have a lot of water propagations in my kitchen. The first water prop is this. I chopped up my Rhaphidophora tetrasperma tissue culture like I told you all, and I completely forgot I chopped it up, and like a week later I seen all the chopped up pieces, so I had to like throw this in here. So they kind of got a little pruny, a little wrinkly, but you know, they're absorbing the water back, and I do see some new growth activity. It's hard to show y'all, but I do see some like new growth activity on a couple of the vines of the plant. This one also contains a couple of different plants. I can't even begin to tell you what's in here, but I'll start anyways. So some more of the monstera monkey situation, some of that Maria. I think this is a Burley Marks. I have this water propagation that has some exotica cuttings in it. It also has an African thyme, which I actually eat. That's like the only edible thing I grow. And another Scindapsus. This water prop has this aglaonema variety. I don't know the exact kind. It has some more monsteras, and more monsteras. I have this plant right here. This is Amanda. This is a water container of pothos, and I decided to throw in here a monstera. So one of the monstera has rooted and it's pushed out some new growth, and I try to keep this is a fern. It's a fern variety in here. I threw it in here. I let this thing dry out, completely forgot about it, and then I threw it in here, and I'm just trying to see if hopefully, you know, it'll enjoy the water and it'll grow so I can transfer it into its own plant. But I think that's like one of the bear paw ferns. Barefoot, bear paw, whatever. This is the African thyme that I was showing you. So this plant has come a long way because this plant used to be humongous. My mom took the parent plant. I kept a little cutting, and my little cutting has rooted. My mom's plant died, so those two pieces I showed you, actually I'm rooting for her, and I'm just, you know, letting this plant live here. Would you believe this plant, it actually started off as like little leaves like this, and I kind of ignored it and I just let it live, and it did live. So I'm so happy about that. Once it's healthy, large enough, I'll give my mom the ones that I've been rooting for her, but she doesn't even know that. And the last plant in here is this water self-watering container. So the last plant is actually, this is like my first YouTube collab, my first like company that ever sent me a product. They sent me this self-watering container thing for me to try. Love it, still use it, and these plants live here. So perfect. So this is a philodendron, like just regular scadens, and that one lives right here like so. So the lighting is horrible. We are in my bathroom now, and the first plant I want to share with you all is this beauty right here. This is my Hoya linearis. I have it just living in my bathroom because I find that my other rooms, they get too hot. They get too hot, too dry, and this plant dries up so quickly, so fast, that this room is the only one that I've noticed will survive for this plant. I have this little jar serving tray thing, and in here I have two of my variegated, my pink, what is this again? my string of hearts, my variegated string of hearts. I have 2 of them in here. And I recently got some plants from my Salty Pecan, Vanessa. So this has a philodendron golden dragon, and it has Hoya black margin. I have them living in here, one to isolate, but also they're really enjoying this windowsill and pushing out lots of growth. So I'm gonna have to repot them soon, but I haven't yet, and they're not complaining, so neither am I. Letting them live here. So those are the only plants I have in my bathroom. We only have 2 more plants, and that is in my bedroom. Let's go. All right, salty peeps, so these are the last 2 plants that I have in my home currently. And I did not show you all the outside plants. I'm just gonna throw that plant video from another video into here because it's really dark and I don't know if I can go outside. Let me see if I can go outside, but I think my camera's about to die too. So this is my Hoya. I said Hoya. This is my fig tree, my Ficus alley, and this is my ficus of my fiddle leaf fig tree. So both of these plants are like now taller than me. This plant started off as a bush in 2016, 2017. Chopped this plant up about a dozen times because I wanted it to like give me new growth points. Has been a fail all this time, but I'm seeing some promising situations. And my big mama alley is humongous. This is like over 8 feet tall plant, okay? And it's like hanging because I have some strings attached to it, but this plant is gigantic. It's humongous, okay? So these are all of the plants in my collection. Thank you so much, my salty pecans, for joining me on this very long video. I can't even imagine how long this video is gonna be, okay? But let me try to go ahead and sneak y'all outside before this camera dies. I've been trying to grow these peppers, completely forgot about them, and yeah, they're done for. Alright, so for my outdoor plants, I keep all my cacti outside. This is my spiralis cactus. This is a variety I recently picked up from Home Depot. I have my penis cactus. This is my variegated, my lemon lime euphorbia. This is another sort of cactus, don't know the variety. I have my euphorbia from DR, the green variety. I got this in 2014. And I have 2 of my white ghost euphorbias from Puerto Rico. So my saucy pecans, I really hope that you enjoyed watching this houseplant tour. It has taken me quite a few, months to film this video, but I did want to, put it out for you all as promised. Again, if you like this video, please let me know by giving this video a big old thumbs up. And don't forget to share my videos with your loved ones, your friends, on your timeline. It doesn't matter. Just share. Let people know about me, because if y'all don't promote me, then, no one's gonna put me on. I'm just kidding. So yeah, definitely share this video if you liked it. Comment down below which plants of mine is your favorite, and again, what should I add into my collection that I don't already have. If you haven't already, please make sure you are following me on my other social media networks at HauzPlant, HauzPlant, and that's on Instagram, TikTok, obviously here on YouTube. You can also check me out on Twitter and Facebook. I'm not very active on the last 2. And of course, check me out on TikTok and Instagram, because I'm, more active on those 2 platforms as well as here on YouTube. And if you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe. Join this little cookie family, because we're pretty awesome here. Become a salty pecan, okay? And I will see you on the next one. Let's get growing. Bye!